Hi, and welcome back to the Kat Scrappiness YouTube channel. Today I am sharing the Holiday Village die. This is a Slimline die. It's part of the November release at the Kat Scrappiness Store. She did release 5 dies this time, and I am using 2 of them on this card. I did cut this out using Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I cut the other white pieces out using that same cardstock. I am doing some very simple Copic coloring. I'm using a 2-color combination. The pink combination is R22 and R14, and the teal combination is BG15 and BG57. I did the shading on the left and the right sides because of the house next to each house, or the house and the tree. I figured that the shading would be on the sides. I'm going to show you 4 of the houses colored. I don't color the 5th one up on screen just for time's sake. And when I finish up with this last red house or pinkish house, we're going to move on to the rooftops. For the rooftops, on the pinkish houses, I used a W1, W3 color combination. And then for the teal house, I used a W3, W5. I tried to keep the marker caps there. For the most part, they're there except for one of the ones when we get to the trees, and I'll tell you about that. As I said, these are part of the November release, and they are available in the Kat Scrappiness Store. I will have them linked in the description box below, so you can just click on that link and it will take you right over to the products that you're looking for. If you haven't subscribed to the Kat Scrappiness channel, we would absolutely love for you to subscribe. Ring the bell so that you're notified whenever we upload a video. And like this video. If you like what you're seeing, please make sure that you give that thumbs up, because it tells us that you are enjoying the content that we are providing. We do have a Kat Scrappiness Insiders page over on Facebook. That is a page for you, the consumer, to share your projects that you've created using Kat Scrappiness products. We love to see what you have created. If you use Instagram, we would love for you to tag us on Instagram at Kat Scrappiness. And if you haven't subscribed to our Instagram, make sure that you do that so that you can see all the wonderful inspiration. We do have bloggers that create projects, and so those can be seen on Instagram or on the Kat Scrappiness blog, and I have linked everything in the description box below. I think this November release is an amazing release. On top of the dies that have been released, Kat also pre-released 2 Slimline paper pads. The first one is called Cup of Christmas. It's a red, teal, and kind of a goldish yellow combination. Super fun, has some coffee theme to it. And then the second one is called Sugar Plum Fairies, which is a light blue, lavender, and a teal. Both of them are absolutely adorable. You should check them out over in the store. Here I'm coloring in the trees using the G43 marker. And then I wanted to add just a little bit of a whimsical look to this, so I'm going to do some flicking with my darker green marker, and that darker green is going to be a G46, and so that will just add a little bit of a rustic or whimsical look to this and also help show the layers. I didn't want a card that was this isn't a Copic coloring demonstration. I wanted something that was a little bit more rustic and whimsical. So I'll finish up with this, and then I'm going to move on to the tree trunk. The tree trunk is just a single color. It's going to be E57. The Mountain Scape Slimline is a 3-piece die set. It comes with the mountain base, the mountain caps, or the snow caps, and then it comes with a beautiful tree line. I am not using but just the mountains for this card. I left out the snow caps because I'm going to use something else to create the snow. I did want to cut the mountains out white. I used to live in the Rocky Mountains, and when I would walk out my front door, I had a beautiful large mountain right in my view, and in wintertime it was so beautiful when it was covered with snow. I am not a fan of snow anymore. I don't want to shovel it. I don't want to be cold. I'm happy not to have it, but it is such a beautiful thing to look at. Here I'm doing just a little bit of coloring onto the background. I wanted to create a sky using that ink, and I'm just doing some blending with that. And then we'll start with our mountainscape. It's already cut out. I'm going to add some art glitter glue to the back of it. Now, as with all of these products, you can change the perspective. So I'm going to put my mountains up higher, and I'm also going to put my village up high. I wanted it to look like it was more in the distance. If I were to put it straight towards the bottom, as I could have, because there's a beautiful stitching on all of the pieces that I'm using, then it would have looked like the mountains were a little bit closer. So I didn't want a large skyline. I wanted the mountains to be big in the background, and you can see that that mountain is a little bit longer. What happens to me is I end up trimming this. I layer all the pieces on, and I take it over to my Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer, and I trim it just a little bit too much. So my finished card is going to end up being 8 1/4 or 8 1/2 by 4, whereas typically I would have a 4 by 9 or an 8 1/2 by 3 1/2. I end up cutting just a little bit too much off, and it makes the orientation just a little bit wonky. Here we go. And I laid down that mountain or the holiday village die. These are the Kat Scrappiness hillsides. They have that lovely stitching as well. And I wanted to just show you how all of these pieces that Kat is bringing into the shop, how they all come together and can be used together. So the hills will work with the village, and the mountains work with the village. They're all interchangeable, and that's a great way to stretch your products. I'm going to line this up, trim it up, and then we are going to come in with some diamond stickles. I'm going to use some Nouveau glitter accents, fresh snowfall, and that is what I'm going to use for the tops of my mountains. This right here is a sentiment from my stash. I thought it was perfect for this card. It says, "From our home to yours." I'm going to use some Versamark ink, and I am going to use some silver embossing powder. My heat gun will have been heating up for about 30 seconds. I will bring it to the paper, and we will have a beautiful heat embossed sentiment. I always use a coffee filter. Sometimes, every once in a while, I'll use a piece of copy paper, but I prefer to use the coffee filters. We have so many coffee filters my husband used to live away from home half of the time, and he had another apartment for when he was working. So he had a coffee pot, and he would always think he was out of filters, and then he would buy new filters, and then he would find more. So I have a boatload of coffee filters. I will never run out of these types of coffee filters. There's the beautiful heat embossing. Now, I did use a piece of glitter cardstock to mount the back of the panel that has the mountain scene and the winter village. I'm using some more of the diamond stickles to add a little bit of sparkle to the rooftops. and I love all the sparkle and shine on this card. Now I'm going to take a polychromo pencil, a yellow polychromo pencil, and add a glow to the windows. I will take a gray polychromo pencil and color the doors in. And then I will use a black gel pen and add a door handle. There's that little rough coloring. And then that's going to pretty much be my card. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't headed over to the Kat Scrappiness Store to see all of the new products that she's released, make sure that you do. There are also some introduction videos that will show you each of the dies that have been released, as well as some inspiration. I want to thank you so much for watching. This right here is just some glaze that I'm putting in the windows and on the door. There's a final look at my card. Have a fabulous day.